Okay, so I guess we're moving on to part four of what to do when a narcissistic abuser leaves you, seeing as I ran out of time in part three. So we've talked about all the things to expect in the beginning. We've talked about the impact on children. We've talked about how to get their true colors to come out and how to basically defend your honor by not defending yourself, which is sort of a weird concept, I know. And I want to talk about basically what to do next. It's in one fell swoop you can accomplish two things. In one fell swoop, you can heal, recover, and move on with your life. Uh, and while you do that, you simultaneously stick it to the narcissist where it hurts most. Um, Coincidentally, it's because moving on with your life and healing and moving on and moving forward uh, is indeed the best way to stick it to the narcissist. Why? Because you have that ability and they do not. So they don't have it in them to heal. They don't have it in them to ever be rise up and become better. They just don't have that ability. Um, Simply put. So by by getting over it, by healing, by recovering and moving on, and focusing on yourself, um, how does that drive the stake through their heart? Um, it comes from the fact that when you were together, from the very get go, they had a condescending viewpoint of you. You'll never amount to anything. You're nothing. You're no good. When I found you, you were broken and hopeless, and I gave you, I gave you, I gave you, I gave you all these things, right? Um, you know, I fixed you, I built you up, I showed you all these things, right? So they have this condescending viewpoint of you, and they have this inflated viewpoint of themselves, saying, "Without me, you would be nothing. You only have all these things because of me. If you didn't have me, you wouldn't have these things, right?" And it becomes easy to believe these things whenever you hear it all the time. But the thing is, it's just not true. Why? Well, I mean, let's face it. You have not been with this person for your entire life, right? At some point in your life, you were a baby. At some point in your life, you were a child. At some point in your life, you were a teenager and an adolescent and out on your own with roommates, right? Um, you have not cohabitated with this person your entire life. You have not been, um, you know, with this person your entire life. Maybe a good significant portion of your life, not your entire life. And the thing is, just imagine this: if you could go back in time and just erase this person the day you met them, and then fast forward, think about this carefully. Do you think you would have a roof over your head? Yes, it would be a different roof. Would you have a cell phone? Yes, it would be a different cell phone. Would you have a car? Yes, it would be a different car. Unless you just live in a city where you don't need a car. That's not the point. Point is, all the things in your life, um, you would still have. Plain and simple. If you had never met this person, think about this. They have not done anything super special for you. The only thing that they have done is make it known that they're doing all of this ordinary stuff um, with the expectation of extraordinary gratefulness from you. And if not from you, from somebody, right? And maybe they caught you while you were down on your luck, some down times in your life. Maybe you were living in a car at the time. Maybe you had a phone shut off. You were probably going through some difficult times. And right off the bat, they come and they meet you and they're like, wow, you're going through some tough times, but you are a special person. You are that special somebody, and you are special to me, and I want to help you. And here, I can provide all these things for you. And at the time, You accept the help because you don't have it. These are basic things. These are basic needs. And then you sign on with it, and then it just forever remains in as their responsibility. You know, your phone got cut off. Okay, so they add a line to their plan, give you that line. You don't ever really go back to breaking the contract and getting off their plan and going back and signing up your own contract again, do you? No. What happens if you're living in your car, somebody takes you in, you live under their roof, you get romantic, you hook up, then y'all stay living under the same roof. Your name's not on the lease. Um, that's how they get you in. But you have to understand that all the things that they're wanting credit for are just things that regular people just do, including you. You would be doing it if it hadn't been for them. And you've just gotten used to them doing it. That's why it's uncomfortable at first, but the point of this is that the condescendence with which they treat you is really uncalled for, and really just ultimately just not is not even worthy of like the appreciation that they're expecting, right? It's like, I keep the roof over your head. Cool. Okay. Well, I mean, it's not like I couldn't. I can. And so to get back to what I was saying in the very beginning, how do you heal and move forward and simultaneously just really stick it to a narcissist where it hurts most? And the thing is the ability to go out and do it for yourself, because that takes away that inflated feeling of importance that they get by keeping the roof over your head, by keeping your cell phone paid, by giving you that car, by putting gas in your car. They feel like they treat you like a pet. They treat you like a dog. And that gives them this feeling of superiority, this feeling of entitlement. So whenever y'all split, what they think they're going to do is they think that they're going to use the car. They think that they think they got all these things as leverage. Like, okay, I'm going to leave, but I still pay for your entire lifestyle, right? So you're not going anywhere, right? Because you're locked in financially, and I afford your life for you, right? So you show that, no, you know what? Fuck it, cancel the phone. I'm going to sign up for my own plan. Here's your car back. I don't know what you're going to do with it. I got friends that are going to drive me. I'm going to get a car of my own. Thank you. So I don't have a job that pays enough. Well, I guess I'll just get a second job and afford my life that way. I don't like your roof either, so I'm just going to go get my own roof. Yeah, sure, it might be a small apartment, and I may have some roommates for a while, but whatever. It's fucking mine. As a matter of fact, all that shit you bought me, I don't want it. Here, you can have the whole house full of shit. I'm just going to go sleep on the floor. I'd rather sleep on the floor than sleep on your shit. And then you do it. You do it. And you succeed. You prosper. You heal. You move forward. And what does that do? That takes this narcissist that had this notion that they were irreplaceable, this notion that they owned you, this notion that that they were such a big deal to you. The fact that you are rejecting them so profoundly that they don't want free shit, or that you don't want their free shit, right? Everybody says, free stuff's the best stuff. Hey, if it's free, sure, I'm willing to take it, right? Like, that's the thing. All these things they do for you, it's because of that attitude that people have about free stuff. Whatever, if it's free, sure, I'll take it, Well, if you're paying for it, we'll do it. It's like, hey, we should totally get that house. If you're paying for it, actually, yes, I am. Wow, really? Yes, because you're special. When you move on with your life and you heal and you move forward, what you're doing is you're showing them and saying, you know what? I don't want, you're seriously such a bad person. I don't want your free stuff. Like, I don't actually want any of your shit, even though it's free. I would rather work harder and have less and you know, not have have worse finances. I would rather go through financial hardship than to be with you for all of your free stuff. Like I'm choosing these problems over you because frankly, you're worse than these problems. You're worse than the problems you're solving for me. I'd rather live in a car. I'd rather have a small apartment. I'd rather walk places. I'll be fucking homeless before I get back with you. Um, because you're such a piece of shit. And the reason why this hurts them so bad is because at the core, and so if you're just now tuning this in for the first time, people with narcissistic borderline disorders, at the core, they have this really, really, really low self esteem. Like they are self deprecating, they hate themselves oh so bad. There's a comedy movie called Dodgeball with um, yeah, Ben Stiller. And there's this one part where Ben Stiller, he's playing this macho gym guy. He's got all these rippling muscles and all that. And then there's this one scene where he's like trying to eat this pizza, this piece of pizza, and he's like self-deprecating himself, even though he's big into fitness and all this stuff. He's still that fat guy on the inside that wants to eat pizza, right? And he's sort of lambasting himself, still sees himself as the fat loser that eats pizza, that likes food to get fat, right? And so he's having sort of this internal battle. Um, and an excellent example, and probably a little overinflated, but to a certain degree, that's sort of what they have at their core. Narcissists, borderlines have this very, very low self worth at the core of their being that explains a lot of their behavior. They have low self worth, so in the narcissist case, they want to prove to everybody that they are not as low worth as they feel. They have this need to show that they're worthy and valuable because they deep down their core psychology is that they are not. The borderlines have this anxious need to prove value because they greatly fear abandonment, and they usually implement manipulation tactics to sort of help mitigate and add stability to their life. By controlling the people around them, they can avoid feeling like they could be abandoned at any given moment. And the thing is, the more they try to control people and control the world and control their lives, the more control they exert, it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy where people do abandon them because they're way too damn controlling. And so it's this vicious cycle where they're trying to control things to avoid an abandonment scenario, but because of all the control tactics, they make people want to leave and get away from them. So it's a vicious cycle. So yeah, move on with your life. I've had to start over several times in my life, not always from narcissist or abuse, but I've been through a few things in my life, and I've started over 4 or 5 times from scratch, just through my life. I've gotten eerily good at it, and I've just learned, you know what, and remember this: if I could leave people with one thing, is this: it is better to have 0 possessions and to have peace and quiet than it is to have all the things, all the possessions in the world and have no peace. You can't put a price on peace. You can't put a roof over peace and conflict, right? It is better to have nothing and to have peace than anything else. And that's what you need to tell yourself, and that's what you need to go for. Seek the peace wherever the peace is. Yeah, you might be without a cell phone for a while. You might have to have roommates for a while. You might live in an apartment for a while. You might not have that nice cookware set that you had. But you know what? None of it gives you peace like quiet does. Thank you very much for listening. This is the last one I'm going to do on this topic. Please like, comment, or share, and I'll see you on another video.